From director Laura Piani and Sony Pictures Classics comes the new French comedy, romantic drama, pretty much a romantic comedy though. Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. This is the story of a young woman who works in a bookstore in France selling old rare books, and she's obsessed with Jane Austen books and wishes life would be like a Jane Austen novel, and she wants to be a writer herself, but she just can't find the motivation to do it, so she just keeps hanging out, living with her sister and her sister's child, and hanging out with her male best friend, and waiting for love, and writing success to happen, but really kind of doing nothing about it. So I'm not going to tell you the whole story. So one day, Camille Rutherford is our protagonist here, and her best friend is Pablo. Pablo Pauly, and Pablo, or Felix, character names. It's Agatha or Agath, Agathe, Agatha. Hopefully one of those is correct. Her best friend basically submits some of her writing, the first couple chapters of a novel she's written about seeing a naked man in a teacup at a Chinese restaurant, and then that naked man coming and embracing her, which we do see acted out in the film. Submitting those chapters to this Jane Austen residency somewhere in England, where if accepted, you can go and be given a place and encouraged to finish your work or to do writing. So she is, without her own knowledge, submitted by her best friend into this competition, wins it, and then is sort of forced to face her fears and go off to England, ferry across the channel, as it were. I was going to say ferry across the Mersey, but that's a song and that's not applicable here. Ferry across the channel to go and be a writer, or try to be a writer. The deal with the Jane Austen residency is these are descendants of Jane Austen. They live in a country estate where great works have been written and great people have once spent time. And she goes off there. She sort of does not hit it off with the son of the elderly couple who are running this competition and estate. He is a literary scholar himself, and they meet cute and they meet not great. And sooner or later, sparks are going to fly. And it's a fun film. It's a quirky film. While I'm watching this film, I'm thinking, boy, I really see this really as being a film made in the mid to late 90s starring Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant, because Charlie Anson, who portrays Oliver, the meet cute guy, really kind of gives off the Hugh Grant vibe. And this woman, Camille Rutherford as Agatha, really does give off the Sandra Bullock vibe. And if you like that kind of movie, you're going to like this. So the film is subtitled. It is in French, but not entirely in French, which is very interesting. It starts off in this bookstore in France, and they're speaking to each other in French with English subtitles, and then suddenly people speak English because apparently it's a place a lot of tourists go to. So there is a lot of English in the film, but there's an amount of French in it too. Just know it goes down real easy. It feels like an American romantic comedy, low key. It's got some good laughs in it. It's got some well shot sequences, some very people dressed in old-timey clothes at a ball. It's got a beautiful English estate and all that, but like on an indie film level. It's not a grand in scope. It's not grand in anything other than this woman very awkward woman trying to find her place in life, trying to find the path she thinks she should be on if only she had the motivation to do it, wrestling between a very typical romantic comedy setup of which of these two cute boys should I pick? Because her best friend has feelings for her, and she maybe has feelings for him, and this son of the people running the competition doesn't have feelings for her really quite so much, but maybe one day will, and he's an attractive, successful male, and it's that kind of romantic comedy thing. So I think despite being an art house film, because it's French, I think this would appeal very much to people who do like American romantic comedies. If you're a Jane Austen fan, it's not all about that, but there's a good amount of that in there. So if you're somebody who's into literature, classic literature and writing and Jane Austen novels, I think you'll probably find a lot to like in this. A very interesting cameo at the end of the film by Frederick Wiseman. He comes up and I'm like, boy, that man looks familiar. He plays a poet giving a reading at the bookstore toward the end of the film, and he does speak in English in this sequence. And at the end, in the credits, I'm like, oh my God, it's Frederick Wiseman, one of the most iconic cinema verite documentary filmmakers of our time, from like the 60s to present. And it's always interesting to see somebody who's not an actor and very famous for something do a very subtle throwaway cameo in another film. Anyway, Frederick Wiseman's in this movie. So this is, I saw a preview of this film. So as I record this film isn't out yet. I believe it is a March 23rd, thereabouts, U.S. Theatrical release. So we may have to wait a little bit. But if you're watching this review down the line, this film may be streaming now. So available somehow, some way in theaters soon, probably streaming if you watch this a year from now, is Jane Austen Wrecked My Life.